scripture reading is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Hear these words. Come to me, all you who are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. This is the gospel of Christ. In our scripture reading, Jesus invites the weary to come to him and find rest. He wants all of us who are carrying heavy burdens to take his yoke upon us. And he seems to be saying that this is easy. The first difficulty that I had with this text is that word easy. Is anything in life really easy? Everything in life seems to have its challenges. It also seems that Jesus is contradicting himself. After all, didn't Jesus say, take up your cross and follow me, and that as a disciple of me, you will be persecuted? Those don't sound like easy things to do. The word easy in Greek, however, means something quite different than what you would think easy means in English. It's important to understand that Jesus did not speak English. He spoke Aramaic. And the New Testament is given to us in Greek. We do not have his words in his original language. His words are translations given to us through Greek, which is the language that the New Testament was written in. And the word for easy in Greek is Christos. And within this text, it means well-fitting. The text is saying that Jesus' yoke is well-fitting. Now, do any of you know what a yoke is? If you've ever worked with livestock, perhaps? Okay. There's the sermon illustration of those aren't oxen, I think those are donkeys, but yeah. A yoke is a wooden beam used between a pair of oxen or other animals to enable them to pull together a load when working in pairs. Now, if you place an ill-fitting yoke on an ox, it doesn't matter how light its load is. Every ounce of effort will be burdensome. Yet even a heavy burden is bearable if the yoke is a custom fit. Jesus has a yoke that was made just for you. It is the one that you were created to wear. It is important to understand that when you are yoked, Jesus is there along with you. A yoke involves two animals that are connected together. So Jesus is there along with you, sharing the yoke. He is offering to us the other half of the yoke. So this metaphor makes me think about what people call a sweet spot. Jesus is inviting us to find our sweet spot. Now, for those of you who are big into sports and things like that, golf clubs, baseball, and I guess cricket bats and tennis rackets all have sweet spots. The sweet spot on a tennis racket is that place near the center of the strings where the vibrations transmitted through the impact of the ball cancel themselves out, making players nearly unaware that the impact has occurred. Hitting the sweet spot, therefore, feels natural and almost effortless. It allows players to invest their energies into playing the game, not merely just hitting the ball. In the film adaptation, a journalist, played by Meryl Streep, is interviewing an orchid thief. Orchids are that rare type of flower. And this orchid thief's name is John LaRoche. Now, during her interview with LaRoche, he talks about a certain insect that is created to pollinate one particular kind of flower. The insect knows exactly which flower to go to. The insect isn't busy trying to pollinate every flower in a given field. It lives to pollinate just this one flower, the one it was created to pollinate. So it flies by hundreds of flowers without giving them an ounce of time or energy, without feeling the slightest bit of guilt or duty-bound, or being duty-bound to go after more than the kind of flower it was made for. In contrast to the insect, we tend to get crazy busy in our lives because we have a hard time saying no to others. Therefore, we spend a lot of time, attention, and life energy wrapped up in activities and pursuits that have little or nothing to do with what brings us alive in the world. We hear all the other flowers calling out to us saying, "Hey, come pollinate me. Don't you have a heart? Why are you flying right past me? Really, I won't demand very much of your time. And aren't I just as deserving of your help as the next flower?" Guilt sets in. Duty. Once we respond to one such flower, 100 others raise their voices, begging us to come their way. "It's not fair if you help that flower and not me," they protest. Pretty soon, we're pollinating every flower except the one we were created for. And over time, we tend to even to forget what flower that is. We've paid so much attention to the calls of others that we've lost touch with the flower that calls us most deeply. How do we get back in touch with our flower? And how do we gain the confidence to say no to the 99 that call to us in order to say yes to the one that fits us best, our sweet spot? Jesus is offering us a well-fitting yoke. In other words, he's offering you the chance to do exactly the work you were created to do, the work that brings you most fully alive. I would invite you all this week to think about where it is that you find your sweet spot. When you find your sweet spot, I found in my own personal experience, this is when you are the most able to find your quiet center, which helps you to slow down, and you are not spending as much time with all of the other flowers that you were not created to pour your energies into. So this week, let us think about that. Where is our sweet spot, and how do we draw our energies into cultivating and forming that sweet spot that helps us to slow down? Amen.